Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another video. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell so you will be updated on all my future content. So this video is going to focus on 3-digit subtraction that requires regrouping. 487 minus 199 is our first example problem, and I'm going to go through step by step how to solve that problem. So step one, before we do any subtraction at all, we want to see whether or not regrouping is needed. Now we regroup from left to right, and then we subtract from right to left. So in subtraction, we regroup whenever there is a bottom digit that is bigger than the top digit. So looking at the hundreds place, the top digit's bigger, we're fine there. In the tens place, the bottom digit is bigger. You cannot start out with 8 and take away 9, so we will need to regroup. So what we're going to do is we are going to take a 10 from the hundreds place, and we're going to add 10 to the tens place. So the 4, we're going to take away 1, it's going to become a 3. Then the 8 is going to become an 18. Next, we've got to look in the ones place. Now, you cannot start with 7 and take away 9, so we now have to take a 10 from the tens place and add it to the ones place. Back in the 90s and early 2000s, we called this borrowing, but it's not really borrowing because we never give it back. So that 7, we have to add a 10 to it. That becomes 17, and then we have to take away 1 from the tens place. So 18 minus 1, 17. And now we are ready to subtract. So now, again, we regrouped from left to right, and now we're going to subtract from right to left. So 17 minus 9 is what we're starting with. 17 minus 9 equals 8. 17 minus 9 again equals 8. 3 minus 1 equals 2. And we have our final answer. 487 minus 199 equals 288. All right, moving on to our next example problem. It's the Mr. Camilleri show. It's the Mr. C. It's the Mr. Camilleri show. Shout out to Mr. C. All right, next example problem. We have 843 minus 339. So again, before we do any subtraction, we got to determine whether or not regrouping is needed. So we regroup whenever there is a bottom digit that is bigger than the top digit. Shout out to the person that just hit the like button. I appreciate you. So we regroup from left to right, and then we subtract from right to left. So starting in the hundreds place, we do not need to regroup there. 8 is bigger than 3. We do not need to regroup in the tens place. 4 is bigger than 3. In the ones place, we will need to regroup. You cannot start with 3 and take away 9. So what we need to do is we need to take a 10 from the tens place and add it to the ones place. So the 4 is going to become a 3. The 3 is going to become a 13. And now we are ready to subtract. 13 minus 9 equals 4. 3 minus 3 equals 0. 8 minus 3 equals 5. And we have our final answer. 843 minus 339 equals 504. Shout out to everybody in the chat that attempted this problem. It's not addition, it's subtraction. My last live stream was an addition video, but this is subtraction. Shout out to everybody that attempted, whether you got the problem right or not. It's good that you're putting in the effort. There were a bunch of people in the chat that did actually get the problem right. All right, next example problem. Here we go. It's the Mr. Camilleri show. It's the Mr. C. It's the Mr. Camilleri show. Shout out to Mr. C. All right, next example problem. We have 727 minus 385. So again, before we do any subtraction, we determine where and if regrouping is needed. So 7 is bigger than 3. We do not need to regroup in the hundreds place. In the tens place, we do need to regroup. You cannot start out with 2 and take away 8. In the ones place, we're fine. We don't need to regroup in the ones place. So again, we regroup by taking away a 1 and then adding a 10 to the place that needs regrouping. So that 7 is going to become a 6. That 2 is going to become a 12. And now we are ready to subtract. So starting in the ones place, 7 minus 5 equals 2. 12 minus 8 equals 4. 6 minus 3 equals 3. And we have our final answer. 727 minus 385 equals 342. All right, moving on to the next example problem. Shout out to everybody that hit the like button. I appreciate you. Really helps the algorithm. Everybody in the chat, keep hitting the like button. You are amazing. I am glad you're here. Some legendary mathematicians in the making here in the chat, I can tell. I can't tell, but I have a pretty good idea that that's true. That the people watching this video are going to end up being very, very good at math. All right. 239 minus 145. So again, we have to regroup before we do any subtraction. We're good in the hundreds place. It's the tens place again. You can't start with 3 and take away 4. So we're going to regroup. That 2 is going to become a 1. That 3 becomes a 13. We're good in the ones place. And now we are ready to subtract. 9 minus 5 equals 4. 13 minus 4 equals 9. 1 minus 1 equals 0. Whether I put a 0 there or just leave it blank, it won't change the value of the number. 239 minus 145 equals 94. All right, moving on to the next example problem. Somebody said easy in the chat, so I'm going to make this next one more difficult. All right, here we go. 900 minus 589. 900 minus 589. So again, before we do any subtraction, the first step is always to see if regrouping is needed. And we regroup whenever there is a bottom digit that is bigger than the top digit. So 9 is bigger than 5. We find the hundreds place. You can't start with 0 and take away 8. So we will need to regroup in the tens place. You can't start with 0 and take away 9. We're going to need to regroup in the ones place too. So that 9 is going to become an 8. And that 0 is going to become a 10. Next, going to the ones place. You can't start with 0 and take away 9. That 0 becomes a 10. Then we have to take away 1 in the tens place. That 10 becomes a 9. And now we are ready to subtract. 10 minus 9 equals 1. 9 minus 8 also equals 1. 8 minus 5 equals 3. And we have our final answer, 900 minus 589 equals 311. Shout out to everybody that got the correct answer in the chat. Somebody in the chat says do exponents. This is a subtraction live stream, but I do have several videos where I do exponents. If you look on my lives page, if you look on my exponents playlist, I do have several videos where I actually do problems with exponents. So you can definitely find that on my channel. There's plenty of exponents live streams. I'll do another exponent live stream in the near future too. All right, this will probably be the final example problem of the video. 754 minus 439. So again, step 1, before we even do any subtraction, is we have to determine whether or not regrouping is needed. And I know I've said it before in this live stream, but I'm going to keep saying it for everybody that new that comes in. We regroup whenever there's a bottom digit bigger than the top digit. So for this problem, 7 is bigger than 4. We do not need to regroup in the hundreds place. 5 is bigger than 3. We do not need to regroup in the tens place. In the ones place, we do need to regroup. We need to regroup in the ones place. So You're going to take a 10 from the tens place and add it to the ones place. That 5 is going to become a 4. And that 4 is going to become a 14. And now we are ready to subtract. 14 minus 9 equals 5. 4 minus 3 equals 1. 7 minus 4 equals 3. And we have our final answer. 754 minus 439 equals 315. That is my live stream for today. That is my subtraction live stream for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of the video. And if there is an area of math or reading that you're having difficulty with, put that in the comments, and I will do a future video on that skill. Until next time, this is Mr. Camilleri signing off. Thank you to everybody in the chat that had left positive comments. I appreciate you saying the video was good, and I appreciate everybody that hit the like button. Thank you so much. Y'all are amazing.